My nephew discovered my secret, a tale of betrayal. I am Claire, and as I share this story, I find myself standing on the edge of vulnerability, exposed and raw. This is an intensely personal journey that I've kept hidden from those I hold dear. Yet, perhaps by articulating it, I can begin to unravel the tangled emotions within me. Last summer, my brother and his wife entrusted me with the care of their son, Ethan, as they prepared to leave for the weekend. Ethan had just turned 18, a bright and thoughtful young man whose presence seemed to cast a shadow of uncertainty, leaving those around him to wonder what lay beneath his easy demeanor. I accepted without a second thought, envisioning a few ordinary days filled with films, snacks, and lighthearted chatter. The first day passed in a haunting silence, each moment heavy with unspoken possibilities. Ethan and I found ourselves immersed in a comedy series, the laughter echoing between us as we navigated through the absurdity of the jokes, all while the weight of our lives hung in the air, unspoken yet palpable. Everything seemed ordinary, yet I was blissfully unaware of the storm that was about to unfold. The next day, as the clock ticked towards late morning, Ethan casually dropped the bombshell that he was about to leave to meet some friends. Alone in the house, I felt a rush of relief wash over me. I made my way to my bedroom, seeking solace in the quiet, ready to unwind and escape the world outside for a few precious hours. With the door slightly ajar, I hesitated, scrolling through social media, the weight of the world pressing down on me. Finally, I resolved to find something to lift my spirits. Yearning for a spark of joy amidst the shadows, all appeared to be as it should. I never even considered the possibility that Ethan could return ahead of schedule. Suddenly, the door swung open, catching everyone off guard. With a jolt, I spun around to find Ethan looming before me, his expression a mix of shock and disbelief. "Claire, I forgot my keys," he said quickly, but the turmoil in his eyes revealed a deeper truth, a storm brewing beneath the surface. For a fleeting instant, the world stood still. A wave of heat surged to my cheeks, a burning embarrassment enveloping me as I frantically tried to shield myself, longing for the ground to swallow me whole. "Ethan, you should knock," I managed to utter, my voice quaking with unease. His gaze darted away, filled with unease, as he took a hesitant step back, barely whispering an apology. "I'm sorry," he murmured, his voice barely a whisper, before he turned away, the weight of his departure hanging heavily in the air. The remainder of the day unfolded in a heavy, suffocating silence, each moment thick with unspoken words and unresolved tension. Ethan averted his gaze, and an unsettling weight hung between us, thickening the atmosphere in a way that was unmistakably new. That evening, as we sat in the dimly lit living room, I felt the weight of the moment affecting the mood, and I knew I had to confront the shadows of what had transpired. "Ethan," I started, my voice barely above a whisper, "about what happened earlier, let's just pretend it never happened. All right?" He nodded swiftly, yet his face betrayed nothing, shrouded in mystery. Sure, I believed that would mark the conclusion. Yet an unsettling tension remained, gnawing at my thoughts. In the days that followed, Ethan began to weave a web of excuses, drawing closer to me with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. Increased closeness, intense stares, everything felt surreal, yet in growing emotional tension was undeniably beginning to weave itself between us. One fateful evening, as I meticulously cleaned up after dinner, Ethan suddenly approached me, his presence heavy with unspoken words. His voice wavered, yet held a firm resolve. "Claire, we need to talk." I pivoted to confront him, the damp dish towel clutched tightly in my hands. "Absolutely. What weighs heavily on your thoughts?" I can't stop thinking about what happened," he confessed, his cheeks flushing with a deep crimson. "Ethan, it was an accident," I blurted out, desperation lacing my voice. "It's best not to linger on it." "It's more than that," he said, closing the distance between them. "When I'm near you, everything shifts within me, it's as if the world fades away. And I can bare my soul, sharing my deepest thoughts without fear." His words struck me like a bolt from the blue. I became deeply conflicted, and I fell into a heavy silence, yearning for him to break the tension with more words. "You're someone I trust completely," he continued, his voice trembling with unspoken feelings. "And I think I might feel something more than that. Something deeper that stirs within me. His confession struck me like a thunderbolt, leaving me utterly speechless. Ethan was my nephew, and the mere idea of anything beyond the bonds of family sent a shiver down my spine. Yet, as he remained there, exposed and sincere, I couldn't ignore the emotional intensity that confused me. It felt wrong, and yet, I found myself unable to turn away. "Ethan," I whispered, "this cannot be allowed to unfold. You're everything to me." "I know," he replied, his voice trembling with raw emotion. "But I've never felt this way before." I pressed my hand firmly on his shoulder, seeking to anchor us in the cloud of confusion that surrounded us. "We must establish limits. No matter the depth of your emotions, we cannot take action on them." Even after our conversation, the air between us remained thick with unresolved tension. Ethan's presence loomed over me, a persistent emotional weight churning within. Despite my efforts to concentrate on my own life, his relentless messages and unexpected visits persisted, haunting my every moment. One fateful evening, a message from Ethan pierced the stillness of my phone. "May I come over? I have something important to discuss." With a moment of uncertainty hanging in the air, I finally found the courage to respond. "Very well." Upon his arrival, a grave expression etched itself across his face. "Claire," he started, his voice trembling with urgency, "I know you believe this isn't right. But you consume my thoughts. And I can't escape the pull of you. Your presence envelops me in an unexpected emotional insight that no one else has ever managed to evoke." "Ethan," I declared with intensity, "this isn't about our desires. It's a matter of justice." "Then why does it feel so intensely emotional?" he demanded, his voice trembling with exasperation. Silence enveloped me, leaving me with an unsettling void of uncertainty. The truth was, I was engulfed in uncertainty. Yet deep down, I understood that we had to resist the overwhelming tide of these emotions. As time passed, we clung to a fragile sense of normalcy. Yet each exchanged glance and every solitary moment crackled with unspoken tension. Ethan's emotional openness plunged me into a whirlwind of emotions, compelling me to face the depths of my own feelings I was desperately unprepared to acknowledge. For years, the fabric of my marriage had been frayed and worn, each thread pulling tighter with unspoken words and unresolved conflicts. My husband, Thomas, was frequently aloof, his focus ensnared by the relentless demands of his job. The deep chasm of emptiness I experienced with him only intensified the emotional conflict I felt regarding Ethan. One fateful night, as Thomas departed for his business trip, Ethan's message cut through the quiet. "I need to see you." I responded, "Not tonight. The situation is far too intricate." His response came like a thunderclap, echoing through the silence. "Please, I promise to stay away. I desperately need to talk." Despite the warning bells ringing in my mind, I found myself saying yes. As Ethan approached, he lingered at the threshold, a cloud of confusion brewing within him. Yet his resolve felt strongly. "I don't want to make things harder for you," he said, his voice trembling with unspoken emotions. "But I can't pretend I don't care." I let out a heavy sigh, moving aside to allow him entry, the air thick with unspoken words. "Ethan, we've faced this before." "I know," he said, his voice unwavering, yet a storm brewed beneath the surface. "Yet, you are worthy of happiness. And it pains me to witness your struggle." His words cut through the quiet, leaving a haunting echo in the air. He was undeniably right. My marriage had turned into a mere facade, and Ethan's presence filled the emotional void I had been blind to all along. Yet, admitting that seemed like stepping over a threshold I could never return from. "Ethan, this isn't about what I deserve," I insisted, my voice trembling with intensity. "It's a matter of justice." He nodded, his eyes brimming with a profound sadness, a deep understanding swirling within them. "I needed you to understand the depths of my feelings." In the aftermath of that fateful night, I made a solemn vow to mend the fragile threads of my marriage. Thomas and I envisioned a weekend escape to reignite our bond. Yet the chasm between us loomed larger than ever. Each effort to engage in conversation crumbled into silence, leaving me haunted by thoughts of Ethan, more than I dared to acknowledge. As we stepped through the door, a heavy realization settled in my chest. Everything had to change. I found myself trapped in a relentless struggle, caught in the agonizing conflict between my duties and the tumult of my feelings. In the end, Ethan and I navigated the delicate balance of our bond, carefully treading the line that kept us close yet restrained. Our bond held firm, yet an unspoken understanding lingered between us, a palpable tension marking the boundaries we dared not cross. The path was fraught with challenges, yet it was an unavoidable journey.